On May 9, 1945, Russian troops celebrated their victory over Nazis in Germany, liberating Europe and marking the end of World War II. 77 years later, the country remembers the day on an ironic note. Russia's Victory Day is a solemn and patriotic commemoration, an annual tribute to over 25 million Soviet citizens who died in the war, memorialized with a show of strength with a military parade in the Red Square and other cities across the nation. However, this Victory Day in Putin's Russia is marred with a new war that the country itself has waged on its neighbor, one that Europe and the world concur is far from liberating. Also, it is a war that may not end in victory for Russia. Rather, it is one that the country has already lost. Russian forces invaded Ukraine on February 24. What was expected to be a blitzkrieg, a swift warfare method that ideally leads to a quick victory with minimal losses, has dragged on for over 2 months now. The Russian military began on a strong foot. Within the first 24 hours, it launched over 100 missiles. Targeting chief Ukrainian cities, the troops launched the invasion towards capital Kyiv, Kharkiv, Donbas and Odessa. Then, they hit a major roadblock they did not expect. Ukrainian forces launched successful counterattacks and pushed back the invasion in the north all the way to Russian and Belarusian border. To the west, invasion has been stalled at Mykolaiv. Russia has since refocused efforts in south and the east. But even in the eastern Donbas region of Mariupol, a city encircled since early March, Ukrainian defenses still posit a counterfront. At least 6 Russian generals have been killed. Over 605 tanks, 667 infantry fighting vehicles, 72 command posts and communication stations, 62 multiple rocket launchers, 56 surface-to-air missile systems, 26 aircraft and 6 naval ships of the Russian army have been destroyed, damaged, captured or abandoned. There are reports of failures in communication, logistics, tactic, strategy. Overall, Russia has faced military failure of a magnitude that no one anticipated. Something that was anticipated, Western countries mobilized at a lightning speed. So far, Ukraine has received over $12 billion in weapons and financial aid. Another $6.5 billion has been pledged in humanitarian aid. While one of the chief reasons behind the invasion was to prevent NATO from setting up camp in the neighborhood, there is more Western power in Ukraine than ever before. Though Ukraine will likely enjoy this foreign patronage but give up NATO aspirations to strike up a peace treaty, the invasion has forced Sweden and Finland to consider joining the bloc. Sweden and Finland joining NATO defeats the entire purpose of keeping the bloc away. Russia is looking at its worst economic crisis since the fall of the Soviet Union. Russia's central bank assets have been frozen to stop it from using its foreign currency reserves, which in turn has caused the volatile ruble to fall 22% in value. There's a 14% rise in the inflation rate. The United Kingdom has removed major Russian banks from its financial system. Visa, MasterCard, PayPal have all suspended operations in the country. The United States has banned all oil and gas imports, and European Union will halt all coal imports by August. Russia is the biggest exporter of wheat to the world. It is also the major producer of potash, phosphate and nitrogen-containing fertilizers. Sanctions on both will hit not only Russia but also create a global shortage. Russia has also lost major businesses. More than 1,000 international companies have either suspended operations or withdrawn altogether. These include tech companies like Apple, Microsoft, Google and Samsung, streaming platforms like Netflix and Spotify, and other giants like Coca-Cola, Marks & Spencer, McDonald's, Starbucks, IKEA, Toyota, Mercedes-Benz, Boeing and Airbus. Foreign governments and companies are punishing the Kremlin. Meanwhile, federations and organizations are targeting its citizens. Several sporting leagues and corporations have either suspended or banned Russian athletes from team and individual sporting events. FIFA and UEFA have suspended all Russian football clubs and national teams. Formula One has bid farewell to the Russian Grand Prix. International Tennis Federation has suspended Russia and Belarus in team competitions. Restrictions and suspensions have also been imposed in other sports like rowing, badminton, volleyball, swimming, cycling, basketball, and archery. Musicians and artists have also been affected. Venues are shutting their doors to Russian artists in protest. Famous personalities like soprano Anna Netrebko and conductor Valery Gergiev have lost their prestigious jobs for failing to publicly condemn President Vladimir Putin. But public condemnation does not guarantee a seat at the table. For example, tennis player Andrei Rublev did express his disapproval for his government's action, but that did not save him a seat at Wimbledon, which has banned all Russian and Belarusian players. Oligarchs and some other Russian nationals have also been targeted. Authorities in various countries have seized assets of Russian nationals in response to sanctions. There's a new embargo on Russian culture that is gaining ground. An university in Italy cancelled lecture on Russian novelist Dostoevsky. The Cardiff Philharmonic Orchestra refused to play the work of Russian composer Tchaikovsky. Hundreds of bars in US disposed of Russian vodka in a show of solidarity with Ukraine. Even the International Cat Federation banned Russian breed cats from competing. Some argue that this is the onset of a new wave of Russophobia across continents. What is for certain is that it is another defeat for Kremlin. It is also a defeat that will further fuel the anger of the Russians protesting their government's actions. Whether Ukraine manages to hold its fort or not, for the international community, the narrative has been set. Even if Russia wins the military combat, it has already lost the war.